Welcome, Angry Faithful. We are now going to talk on about Richard Speck for Psychos
Oh, hey,
and
for those of you,
Sociopaths.
yes, there we go. I was going to say, hey,
I
for
was
those of you
eventually
who don't know,
I don't know why. I just blanked out the entire.
because
I was
normally
like,
you start out with the welcome to Psychos and Sociopaths, and I'm
yeah,
like,
I just,
brah, brah, brah. You know,
I know. I was like, it's like everything just went. It's like that squirrel is like, we're going fast, and it just realized it's like, wait a minute, what are we doing again? And it just stopped mid sentence.
yeah, it was an epic fail.
Yeah, that was epic, Phil. I hate you and your soundboard.
Victory.
Anyways, this guy was a piece of work. I was trying to get research done really fast because this is like really spot on. We both, well, I've been busy a lot, but I had to tear down a fence and I had to get everything ready. I had to get a.
Well, in full disclosure, dude, I completely forgot.
Oh, really?
When you were like, hey, well, you want to do this in like 30 minutes? And I'm like, I am literally getting, putting on some like normal clothes so I could run to Walmart. And it inevitably always happens. I went in there for the sole purpose of just getting some damn Skittles to refill my jelly bean jar with, because I got a sweet tooth, right?
Yeah.
I walked out $74 later.
That's an expensive fucking bag of Skittles.
Well, yeah.
Did you even buy the Skittles?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Because I go in there, it's like, I got to get this. And I don't even get that, but I get other stuff. But anyways, Richard Speck, he was born December 6, 1941. And if anybody knows what happened on December 7th, it was the attack of Pearl Harbor.
That we celebrated the 80th anniversary of yesterday. So for those of you keeping score at home, the date that this episode is being recorded on is the 8th of December in the year of our Lord, 2021.
Yep. And in an interview, he said,
see, I can say that because apparently I'm wicked smart. So there you go.
Just because you got the shirt doesn't.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck you, bro.
Just because I didn't.
At least I walked on the campus.
I went to Harvard. Yeah, I know. You took a field trip there.
I went to Harvard.
I went to a class. I went to a class.
I will cut you. I will cut you.
Dude, I dated I ended up marrying a Filipino woman. You can't scare me to death. I bring it on. I welcome death. Glad I got divorced.
I'll just skin your arms and just rub salt and Tabasco sauce in there.
And
all right,
anyways,
I'm going to sew your asshole shut, and then I'm just going to keep feeding you.
I'm already full of shit. You didn't see that one coming,
ladies and gentlemen, it is incredibly hard to bag on somebody who is the holder of a doctorate in the art of self-deprecation, because there's only so many other places that you can go, and most of those cross a line.
That didn't cross any kind of line.
Oh, it does.
That I'm full of shit.
No, trying to find an angle to make you feel bad, worse, or to get in an insult without you trying to retort with something whimsical.
Oh yeah. It was like, I can do better than you,
right? Yeah.
But anyways, Richard Speck. What's really sad is he actually started his life started out good. His dad was one of those fathers that every Sunday he wanted to get him out of get out of the house, go fishing and everything, and took his son out fishing. and he actually remembers those times as being one of the best times. And eventually, it got to the point after his father died, and his mom remarried a door-to-door salesman, and finally moved down to Dallas because the door-to-door salesman father was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Basically, he was I think fraudulent checks. He did a lot of fraud. It didn't say specifically what fraud, but he did a lot of fraud. I guess I mean, the most things back then was like fraud checks. But he hated Richard, treated him like a piece of shit. His mother, being the supposedly saint, whenever Richard would get arrested and everything, she'd bail him out. He always after the harshness of his childhood, he kind of forgave her and ended up just saying, "Hey, she's a saint to me now," because she kept on bailing him out. I think I remember this case. Yeah, eight student nurses. But this is what Richard's known for, and we'll get on the prosecution and everything after that. At 11 p.m. on July 13th, 1966, Speck broke into the 2319 East 100th St. Townhouse in Chicago. Yes, I remember this one because he did this all in one night. The townhouse was functioning as a dormitory for student nurses. He entered and used only a knife, killing Gloria Debbie, Patricia Maskett, Nina Joe Schmel. I'm probably butchering the holy hell out of these names. Pamela Winkin, Susan Ferris, Mary Ann Jordan, Marilita Grotto, Valentine Passion. Speck, who later claimed he was both drunk and high on drugs, may have originally planned to commit a routine burglary. Speck held the women in a room for hours, leading them out one by one, stabbing them or strangling them to death. Then finally raping and strangling his last victim, 22-year-old Gloria Davy. Initially of between 20 and 30 minutes elapsed between each murder. God. One woman, I cannot say that name. Carzona or Mornia?
Carzone Amoreo.
Escaped death because she crawled and hid under a bed while Speck was out of the room. Speck possibly lost count, or might have known 8 women lived in the townhouse, but was unaware that the 9th woman was spending the night. Fingerprints found at the scene were matched to Speck. 2 days after the murder, Speck was identified by drifter named Claude Lutzford. Speck, Lucifer, and another man had been drinking the evening of July 15th on a fire escape in the Star Hotel at 617 West Madison. On July 16th, Lungford recognized a sketch of the murder in the evening paper and phoned in the police at 9 p.m. After that, it was basically the trial for this. And what was a lot of stuff that was doing a little bit of research on this. Speck, as soon as he like 15, that's when it drawn out because he started smoking pot. Not
Mhm.
saying pot's bad, but he ended up doing other drugs. Started more or less. He ended up having sex with a lot of hookers or easy women. That was his thing. He didn't want to try too hard
Yeah.
to get anybody, and he felt that anybody that if it took 2 words to get to them, he didn't want. So that was his thing. He actually eventually tried to settle down with a woman that he got pregnant. Uh and after he got into prison, he ended up going to prison in Dallas. Coming out, he was like changed. He wanted to do the crime life. He wanted to have the big crime life.
Right.
And he literally told his wife that was, and this wasn't even she hasn't even give birth to her to the kid. Literally said that he would come home, he would park his car in the front yard, make out with another chick, knew that she was watching, and that was how he got his rocks off, and then drive off to get his rocks fully off.
Yeah.
Guy's just a piece of shit.
No, sounds like it.
Yeah, even the prosecutor was saying that uh if he didn't have a knife or a gun, and if you
Mhm.
took those away from him, he was a coward. All he did was a lot of petty burglary. Is that, did I say that right?
Burglar. You know, that word's hard for me to say too.
Yeah. But he was supposed to go on death row, but he ended up getting commuted to 400 years to 1,200 years.
Right.
So there's a lot of prison videos of Speck for interviews. Uh and but in May 1996, Chicago television news anchor Bill Kurtz received a videotape made at the Stateville Correctional Center in 1988 from an anonymous attorney, showing them probably for the first time before Illinois state man.
Legislature.
Yeah. Kurt pointed out the explicit sex scenes, drug use, and money being passed around by prisoners who seemingly had no fear of being caught. In the center, Speck performed oral sex on another inmate, sharing a large quantity of cocaine with another inmate.
Mhm.
Wow. Parading in silk panties, sporting female-like breasts, allegedly grown using smuggled hormone treatments, and boasting, "If they only knew how much fun I'm having, they would turn me loose." The Illinois legislature uh, packed the auditorium to view the 2-hour video, but stopped this screening when the tape showed Speck performing oral sex on another man. Yeah, well, from behind the camera, a prisoner asked Speck if he had killed a nurse. Speck responded, "I sure did." When asked why, Speck struggled and jokingly said, "I just wanted the I just just wasn't their night." Asked how he felt about himself in the years since, he said, "Like I always felt, had no feeling. If you are asking me if I felt sorry, no." He also described in detail the experience of strangling someone. It's not like TV. It takes over 3 minutes, and you have to have a lot of strength. So he didn't care.
He didn't. Um yeah, it just let me see. I mean, there's just so many. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here on this one. Um, like he was initially sentenced to death. But then there was something here about it getting reversed. Because more than 250 potential jurors were unconstitutionally excluded from his jury because of their conscientious or religious beliefs against capital punishment. The case was remanded back to the Supreme Court for resentencing. And on June 29th of 1972 in Furman versus Georgia, the Supreme Court declared the death penalty unconstitutional. So the Illinois Supreme Court's only option was to order Speck resentenced to prison by the original Cook County Court. And on November 21st of 1972 in Peoria, Judge Richard Fitzgerald resentenced Speck from 400 to 1,200 years in prison, 8 consecutive light sentences of 50 to 100 years. He was denied parole in 7 minutes at his first parole hearing on September 15th of 76. We had 6 subsequent hearings in 77, 78, 81, 84, 87, and 90. While incarcerated at the Stateville Correctional Center in Crest Hill, Illinois, Speck was given the nickname Birdman after the film Birdman of Alcatraz because he kept a pair of sparrows that flew into his cell. He was described as a loner who kept a stamp collection and enjoyed listening to music. His contacts with the warden included requests for new shirts, a radio, and other mundane items. The warden merely described it as a big nothing doing time. Speck was not a model prisoner. He was often caught with drugs or distilled moonshine. Punishment for such infractions never stopped him. How am I going to get in trouble? I'm here for 1,200 years.
Yeah.
That's like the kid gets sent to his room and then he closes the door and then plays with that little door stopper thing. Little spring thing.
I did that.
Yeah, right.
You didn't do that?
I said, yeah, right.
Oh.
Like I was agreeing with you. Let me play you the song of my people. Thanks for participating, David. Speck loathed reporters and granted only one press interview in 78 to the Chicago Tribune columnist Bob Greene. During that interview, he publicly confessed to the murders for the first time and said he thought he would get out of prison between now and the year 2000, at which time he hoped to run his own grocery store business. When Greene asked him if he compared himself to celebrity killers like Don Dillinger, he replied, "Me? I'm not like Dillinger or anybody else. I'm freakish." Speck stated that at the time of the killings, he had no feelings, but things had changed. He had no feelings at all that night. They said that there was blood all over the place. I can't remember. It felt like nothing. I'm sorry as hell for those girls and their families and for me. If I had to do it all over again, it'd be a simple house burglary. See, look at that. I said that. His final thought for the American people was just tell them to keep up their hatred for me. I know it keeps up their morale, and I don't know what I'd do without it. Let me see here. Yeah, May 96. Chicago television news anchor Bill Curtis received videotapes made at Stateville Correctional Center in 1988 from an anonymous attorney, showing them publicly for the first time before the Illinois state legislature. Curtis pointed out that the explicit scene. Okay, yeah, so that's what you were talking about with the prison video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see here. Shortly before December 5th of 1991, he was transported from Stateville Correctional Center to the Silver Cross Hospital in Joliet, Illinois, after complaining of severe chest pains. He later died in the early morning hours of December 5th of what was believed to be a heart attack, 1 day shy of what would have been his 50th birthday. Coroner stated that Speck had an enlarged heart, emphysema, and clogged arteries, most of which most likely contributed to his fatal heart attack. Well, no shit. His sister feared that his grave would be desecrated, so he does not have an identified physical resting place. Speck was cremated and his ashes were scattered in a secret location in the Joliet area.
Oh, that's so nice of the family, I guess.
Right. There's a 1967 film called Violated Angels. It's a fictionalized version of Speck's murder spree set in Japan. I'm mildly interested in watching that now.
Yeah, me too.
Reason. Then there's one in 76 called Naked Massacre, but this one's set in Northern Ireland. The 2002 film Speck. portrays Speck's murders from his perspective. And in 2007, the Chicago Massacre, Richard Speck also portrays his crimes. See here, television, Discovery, or Investigation Discovery, A Crime to Remember. And then episode 9, season 1 of the 2017 series.
That's where I
Mindhunter.
remember it from.
Yep. Great Crimes and Trials of the 20th Century was a series commissioned by the BBC. Yeah, and then there's just there's a ton of references and footnotes and all that kind of good. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, the guy just, like you said, he didn't care. Yeah, I mean, he really didn't care. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot going on for him. His family was a shambles, and he just decided to say screw it one day. From the sounds of it.
I think he said screw it like when he was 15.
Yeah. Well, like
I mean, that's when he started doing the burglary. He got a switchblade, which helped him.
Look at you. You said it too. Look at that. I feel like we're growing.
I know. One of these days, we're going to be big men child.
Big men child. Putting off that big dick energy or medium dick energy.
Yeah. But yeah, this guy was a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, the inspiration for tonight's episode came courtesy of my father, who overheard me having a phone conversation and sticks his head in the door and says, "Hey, why don't you do Richard Speck?" I'm like, okay, so I looked it up and then I shot you the link and here we are.
Yeah. Have you been keeping up with the stuff with Alec Baldwin?
I know that he and his wife deleted their Twitter accounts today after finding out that they their names were in the black book.
Oh. Yep. Was it?
I believe so. Let me double check because somebody mentioned his name at the
I think
at the trial today. There we go. All right. Scroll down to the B's here. Alec Baldwin. Yeah, with a 212 and a 515 area code.
I think the reason why that would make sense.
How did I not see his name the first time when we did that episode?
I don't know. We had that list was extensive. We were we were skimming.
It really was
a lot. I mean, if you think about it, the person that he shot was supposed to do a doc. That conspiracy's looking a little bit more plausible now.
Yeah,
because
he was contacted by the Clinton camp, and they said, if you don't do this, your career is over.
Yeah. And
or no, you know what it was is that they told him, if you do this for us, we'll make sure that your name doesn't ever get out.
Yeah. I mean, she was doing that documentary about Hollywood pedophiles. That was the whole conspiracy of it is reason why it accidentally happened was because she was doing a documentary for Hollywood pedophiles.
Yeah.
I mean, that fucking makes sense now. But no, I think he deleted his Twitter account because of the gun mishap, because he said on an interview, and I can't believe the gun that he used was a Colt 45.
Yes. It's a double action Colt 45.
Single action.
It's a single action. That's right. But it requires A
You
trigger
to
pull.
pull the no, you have to
Yeah, well, you got to
the
pull the
hammer.
hammer back, and then
You have to have
yeah.
pull
But
the
he
hammer
said he
back.
never pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
And there have been so many gun experts, so many gun owners of that particular weapon.
even the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
John, man, I sent it to everybody.
Holy crap! Yeah, hold on. John Snyder.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, he did like a 7-minute video of how that gun works.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And he even talked about the cowboy load. He didn't know to call it a cowboy load.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, John Snyder. Yeah, that's right. John Snyder, dude, is the guy is amazingly conservative.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro.
It's weird. I don't know if the documentary that he did, he had done on himself, puts it in, but he was an alcoholic, very alcoholic, and he switched to Christianity to save himself. And you know who helped him out with that? Johnny Cash.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? You're right.
Because Johnny Cash and his
Snyder's website, because John Snyder he has a recording studio.
Yeah, he's also a singer.
Right. They had a fire, and they lost a lot of stuff, and so it really kind of put him back. So he on his and I'm going to try to get something from there after the first of the year. But he's offering he put up the sale of a lot of their merchandise. Like, they're trying to move it out because now they don't have anywhere to store it.
Yeah, because he got rid of his General Lee.
No, he didn't. He still owns his General Lee.
I thought he auctioned it off for a charity.
He auctioned off a General Lee replica, but one of the original General Lees that survived the series, he has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was that rebuilt it and restored it, but they restored one of the original Challengers from the show, because Dodge built so many Challengers for the show, and they were all base models. So what happened? CBS went in there and they bought like 70 of these cars.
Mm-hmm.
And every time that one would make a jump, if it didn't break the frame, it just trashed the car in other places. And so they're having to piecemeal cars together that, hey, we can straighten out this frame for this shot. And sometimes the cars didn't even have proper paint jobs on them.
Well, what's even funnier than that is the fact that because of that show, it's almost impossible to get original parts for that car because of that show.
Yeah. In fact,
they were literally scrounging around just to get parts at the last of the seasons.
Yeah.
Then they finally got the wise idea. Hey, how about we just do we use film from the other jumps and just put it in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's like with the DeLoreans, the time machines for the Back to the Future series or franchise.
Yeah.
There were 7 original DeLoreans. I think there's only like 3 of them left, and one of them is a cage car that they used for the close-ups of the windshield. It's not even a whole car.
Yeah.
But they did. They found one. I was trying to think here. No, what they did, because there was like a Discovery Plus show with Josh Gates. It was amazing, dude. Like, watch the whole thing. They were trying to find one of the original DeLoreans to have it restored as a time machine, and they were going to donate it to Michael J. Fox to auction off for his foundation. And they had everybody from the movies coming back, right? I mean, Leah Thompson. And I'm not ashamed to admit this, dude. When I was growing up as a kid, I had the Leah Thompson was my celebrity crush. Hands down. Between Howard the Duck, the Back to the Future movies, Space Camp,
Oh yeah, okay. I'm
bro.
thinking of the
Yeah.
wrong other person.
And then Caroline in the City as I'm a young adult. I'm like, oh, dude, Leah Thompson, totally where it was at.
Yeah, she was one of my celebrity crushes too.
No, she was the celebrity crush for me. I'm
You know,
like,
you know who was actually like hardcore my celebrity crush? The chick that played Lily in Legend.
okay, yeah, I can see that. But yeah, no, for me, it was totally Leah Thompson, dude. Like, absolutely hands down, Leah Thompson all day, every day. I mean, enough to make you want to think about that David Lee Roth promo that he did for MTV. It was like all day, all night. I want my MTV, but I'm like, I want my Leah Thompson. Dude, I watched Space Camp and Howard the Duck, and I watched those movies so many times. Back to the Future so many times. And yeah, the storyline for Back to the Future was great, and the special effects at the time were amazing. But dude, for me, Leah Thompson in a poodle skirt, bro. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just saying. Anyway, how did we get on that subject? Oh, we're talking about the DeLorean. So yeah, so they went through, and Christopher Lloyd and Josh Gates, they were going through, and they were going bouncing all over the country, and they were finding original DeLoreans that were built for the movie. And then they found the one that was donated to Universal Studios out in Florida. And it was scheduled to be restored and retained by Universal Studios. So what did they do? They went out and they found a barn find, like a DeLorean, an original DeLorean in somebody's barn, and they bought it from them. And you can go right there's a couple of different places in the country where they build movie accurate time machines.
Yeah.
And so so they found one. They took the DeLorean and everything. They're like, well, when do you need this? And they're like, in a week. And they're like, oh, that's going to be tough. So they contacted the original designer of the time machine from the Back to the Future movies. He came in, took them to this, took Josh Gates and Christopher Lloyd to this junkyard for like this Hollywood junkyard, right? Where it's like, it's legitimate junk, like old rocket parts, and I mean, just wires and boards and all this other kind of craziness, right? They recreated to include the time circuits, right? An entire DeLorean that was so accurate that there was like little things in there that most of the super fans and collectors did not know, right? The only thing they were missing was a flux capacitor. So
you can get that at
wait.
O'Reilly's.
Oh, I know, but no, that's a USB charger for your phone. But so they found the right kind of avionic wire to recreate the flux capacitor, right? Well, Josh Gates goes to like start the car, and he accidentally breaks the glass and breaks one of the wires of the flux capacitor. So now they're like scrambling, and they're like, oh God, I screwed this up. Lloyd Bridges donated the flux capacitor from the movie that he got from the set to this car. And so they took the car, they took it all the way out to New York City, and they got a hold of Michael J. Fox, and they said, hey, you need to meet us at this theater where you're going to be holding this charity event. And so Michael comes out, and of course Josh Gates is freaking out because he's like a huge Back to the Future fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
and then O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah, it's part number 2.4G.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what is it? 1.4 gigawatts. So it's like 1.4G. It's the part number. Anyways.
Yeah.
So they pull the curtains back and everything like that. And he's like, "Oh my God, is this one of the original DeLoreans?" And they're like, "No, but this is a recreation, but it's got a lot of the original movie stuff in it." Right. And so they told him the story of the how they got it built and everything like that. And then they opened the door and let Michael sit in there. And that's when Christopher Lloyd pointed out, he goes, "That is the original flux capacitor that I got to keep from the movie." Because a lot of actors, when they go and they act in a movie, they get to keep a prop or something from that movie, right?
Yeah.
Like Leah
Deadpool, he
Thompson.
got his the suit.
Leah Thompson kept her prom dress from the original
Oh,
movie.
really?
Yeah. She goes, "Of course it doesn't fit anymore." And dude, let me tell you, Leah Thompson in today, she aged very well. She aged very, very well.
It's not those Hope goggles, right?
What goggles?
You know, no matter how ugly the person gets, you still hope for that person. You like,
No,
okay.
no, it's got no. There's absolutely nothing to do with that at all. I don't know where where you're going with this. Why am I hearing a ton of reverb?
I don't know.
Is that better? Or no, that's almost all the way down. See, yeah, now you can hear me. Um, I don't know. Does that sound better? Right there?
She's not
Maybe.
bad.
Bueller. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my sound. Can you hear that?
It's perfectly fine for me.
Okay, all right, fine.
Yeah, she's
But
not
you can
bad
hear
looking
it when I
still.
turn the reverb up, right?
Yeah, I can hear that.
I wonder what happens with the sounds. Hold on
Dude,
just a second.
she looks good for a 60-year-old.
Hold on, I want to hear something here. No, okay. It doesn't sound any different with reverb. Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, but Leah Thompson, empirically, she is one of the classier. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. I'm fawning and I'm an engaged man. I need to shut up. Anyways, um
I guess that's it for this episode.
yeah.
And our next episode, we are I'm gonna need to talk to you after the show, but we are gonna do Army Navy game. We're not gonna do it at my brother-in-law's house. We're not gonna do the film or anything, but Sunday we're gonna talk about it. Even though it's not gonna be for the sports shirt, it's gonna be for what the hell. But we're gonna talk about that and probably talk about the new Halo that came out this week.
Yeah, because
I really want to get with you and get up on Xbox, and we should. I want to play that on Xbox with us because I can
from
still
what
do
I
the
understand,
PvP.
do not quote me yet here. Hold on. Uh Somebody had said, I've seen it out there a couple of times, that Halo Infinite does not support co-op campaigns. And besides that,
We can't do the campaign, but we can do PvP.
I haven't even installed it yet, man.
I haven't even installed it on mine either. That's when after this I'm gonna go and then install it on my Xbox.
All right, so they let me see here. Halo Infinite co-op campaign release date and how to play and more. Da, 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 da. Okay, so there is going to be a co-op campaign, but that release date has been pushed back to May 2022 at the earliest, to fall in line with the release of the game's multiplayer season 2. So there is a purpose behind it. All we know for now is that developer 343 Industries plans to share more about season 2, campaign co-op, and forge mode in January of 22. Whether or not we'll be able to get a confirmed release date for co-op campaign at that point remains to be seen. And I think a big part of that is because one, they want to make sure that all the bugs are worked out of it. Two, because there is cross-platform playing enabled for this game, i.e., PC and console. There's still a lot of like glitches and bugs to kind of work out a little bit.
Yeah, because I had that a lot when I was playing Warzone.
Yeah, and there's even a lot of console players now that are asking for cross-platform to be turned off on the PvP, just simply because the fact that a lot of the PC players that installed the multiplayer beta went in to the code and started figuring out hacks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, seriously, come on. Your life sucks that bad that you got to cheat at a video game
Yeah.
just to make yourself feel better. I don't get it.
But anyways,
But yeah,
that's
I'm generally I'm not going to install this game until tomorrow. Simply because I got my boys tomorrow night,
yeah.
and I bought 2 copies of this game, one for me, one for them. So, but yeah, I'm going to tear it up on that campaign, and then once they release the co-op campaign, I generally I try. I've done the co-op campaign for every Halo game with Colin, and this is not going to be this is no exception. But we just have to wait for them to turn that feature on. So
Yeah. But that's the end of this episode of Psychos and Sociopaths. We did it over Richard Speck. And thank you, Angry Faithful. And good night.